Hello from sunny Thailand. For the ones that don't know me, my name is Tim. Last name is Searles. Together with my wife and 3.5 kids, we came to Thailand in 1980. And the reason I'm sending this video is because I need some help. But first, let me give you some history, and then I'll tell you what's going on. So, right at the moment, we've got two churches. One in Nakonyoak, which is just down close to Bangkok, and we got a church up here in Nong Khai, which is right. We can look over into Laos, not far from Vientiane. Here in Nong Khai, a friend of mine died, and so we took over the church. So it was Butch Crans. We took over the church up here, and it's developed into a children's home. It's turned into a pretty good sized farm, and I'll explain that. But first, the church in Nakonyoak, we've been down there for about almost 20 years. It runs 20s, 30s. It's self-sufficient, self-supporting. There's a good possibility that the Lord's given us a Thai pastor. His name is Moss. His wife, his name's Son. And they got 2 kids. He's a Bible school student. And so we are very, very happy about that. The Lord gave him to us, I believe. And so in the transition, Butch died. And so we came up here to try to resurrect the church. This is in Nong Khai. And it's doing well. We've been here for about 4 years. And it's different. It's a different place. A friend, a Bible school professor, he said that success is regional. And he said what works in Hammond, Indiana may or may not work in Jacksonville, Florida. And I can vouch that what works in Bangkok does not work in Nakonyoak, and what works in Nakonyoak does not work in Nong Khai. And so we came up here, and the people are very, very resolved. I mean, you could preach your guts out, and you wouldn't get so much as a blank. They just sit there and look at you. Good people. They understand what you're saying. They like what you're saying, but they're not going to react. And so we're into this work up here now 4 years, and if I'm preaching now, if there's a question, they ask it. If there's a comment, if I hit a note or something resonates in their head, they'll bring it right up. And so there's starting to be a very, very openness in the attitude of the church here, and I like it. I like it a lot. There's a cross aisle, cross church communication, and I can't help but think that with that kind of openness, that it's going to carry over into the homes and into the community, and we will start to see people saved. And of course, that's my primary goal, is to see people saved and churches started. And so Butch's pastor, his name is Kevin Bernard. He's from Arkansas. He asked me if the land up here would be conducive for a children's home. And it's a phenomenal situation for a children's home. We got 7 acres, and it's a farming situation. We have support of the Lighthouse Children's Home from the States, and they take care of the kids. Ours basically is the infrastructure, and they take care of the kids. So it's a good working situation. And the kids are right at the moment. We got 2 kids. As far as I'm concerned, they're prodigies as far as memorizing scripture. They'll take a verse in 2 hours and they'll memorize it. If we review it, they've got it. There's a series called Walk Through the Bible. and they're memorizing it verbatim. It's incredible what they're doing. If I were to guess right at the moment, they probably got 70 verses that they can do just off the top of their heads. That's not to mention the Bible stories that they teach, and they teach what they tell with vigor. This is a 10-year-old and 11-year-old. And so, of course, in my mind and my hope is these guys are going to be preachers. But what God's going to do, that's entirely up to Him. But my job is to train them, and it's God's job to call them, right? But it's exciting, it's fun to see these kids grow. Kids are a real blessing. And so the deal with the farm is we've got 17 rye that translates to about 7 acres at about $35,000 an acre. So we're sitting on approximately about $2.5 million that the government's letting us use. Now we've got to do some things. We have to set up an association. It's got to be primarily agricultural. Now I can use the agriculture to teach the kids. That's okay. I can use the agriculture. I can use everything here. I can use agriculture to do any other thing, but the primary thing has got to be agriculture as far as the government's concerned. And so we've got about 150 chickens. I just ordered another 150. That's 300. We raise fish. We raise worms. We're in the process of planting 700 or 800 lemon trees. And so, but my heart's desire is to make this place, the infrastructure self-sufficient, self-supporting. So that if money comes from the States, so that when money comes from the States, it can go to the kids. It doesn't have to go to cutting the grass and paying the electricity and on and on. So we can take care of the kids with the money that comes from the States. And so it's working very well. We're in the process of setting up an association that the land can be put into, and a lot of legal work, a lot of legal details, and we're working at it. Now, a spin-off of that was we had to go downtown in Suncombe, and we had to rent a building to be the office of the association up here. We couldn't use the land. That's a government detail. Well, so now we've got a positive presence in Suncombe, and we're going to use it for teaching English. We're going to use it for passing out tracts. We'll use it to have services down there and see what the Lord does as far as starting a church. Many years ago, I heard a preacher talk about church planting, and he used the illustration that if we wanted a large harvest, we would plant a lot of seed. Now, some of the seed is going to die, but the more you plant, the more is going to come up. And his application was, if you want to see a lot of churches started, you got to plant a lot of churches. And some of them aren't going to make it, but some of them are. And so that's exactly what we're doing. Moss, who's taken over for me in Naconioke, he comes from an area called Suncombe. It's down the road for about an hour from Naconioke. And his heart's desire is to start a church in his area. I'm all for it. Now, exactly how we're going to pull it off, I don't know. Maybe we'll go with a live feed. Maybe we'll go different nights of the week. Maybe we'll do this. I don't know. But right at the moment, we got Naconioke, we have Nonkai, we have the home up here, and we've got the farm. And Suncombe is just coming online, and in the future, in our mind's dream is Pachi. Now, that's within the last, I don't know, 20 years. We've been here since 1980. But since 1980, when we were in Bangkok, God gave us a preacher. He was a God-given preacher. And make a long story short, Jesda, through Jesda and the church in Nakoni Oak, probably 16 churches were probably started. And he came via Phil Pope and myself. It came via the Lord and the work of Phil Pope and myself. We went down to Bangkok, and literally we passed out millions of tracts. And literally we were on visitation 6 days a week on the back of a motorcycle, and visiting and doing every street preaching and doing everything we could do to get the church in Bangkok going. And I was out buying a washing machine, and Jesda, he was the manager of a store, came up to me and says, "You're a missionary, aren't you?" And that relationship, but he was God-given. I wasn't passing out tracts. I wasn't carrying a Bible. I wasn't even in the mindset to witness. He led the conversation. So it's a God-given circumstance, and that's what we're involved here. It's a God-given operation, and it's so much fun. It's so much fun. And so let me see, Nakoni Oak. Okay, it seems that's everything I got on my list basically. But so the reason I'm sending this video is it's been 20 years since we actively tried to raise support. And we've lost quite a bit. And my wife is telling me I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to it, and I don't pay attention to it for a reason, because it tends to take over your mind where you are financially, and that's not what I want to do. And so she's telling me that we're putting everything that we have into it. Putting our Social Security, we're putting 100% of what God gives us goes into here, and we're glad to do it. But to continue this and to go forward, we need some help. And the reason I'm sending this is I need contacts. I have no contacts. I've got the people that support me, the 35 churches that support me, and several friends, but I don't have any outside of that. I don't have anybody. And so what I need recommendations. I need some people to say, "Hey, I know somebody," maybe that, whatever I can do to get contacts so I can contact them to try to book meetings maybe in January, February, March, go back to the States for 3 months. I really don't want to go back for more than that. I don't have anybody to take over the home here. It looks like my wife is going to have to stay, but those are all details that we can work out. But my first step is I have to book meetings in the States, if God will let us do it. And when we contact these people, it's got to be qualified. They got to know that I'm 72 years old, but I'm 72 years old going on 35. We fully expect to be here for, I don't know, another 20 years. Why not? My wife and I are both in good health today. What's going to happen tomorrow, I don't know, but we have the heart to stay, and the heart to keep working, and until we start to tear up the pea patch, or we start to get bitter, or some of that stuff, and it does happen. But so what I need, and the reason I'm sending this out is to give you an idea of where we've been, where we are, and what we'd like to do, and to ask you to go to bat for us. My phone number is 602-904-5194. That's an Arizona number. It's actually a Skype number. It rings. You'll call Arizona and it'll ring here. So that number is 904-5194 if there's any questions. And my email is Searles, Searles, Searles 4, the number 4, Thailand at gmail.com. Searles4Thailand at gmail.com. And if you want to see some other stuff about us and what we've been doing, and if you go to YouTube and you search on Timothy Searles, there'll be probably 15 videos up of what's been happening, especially up here in Nong Khai. So thanks for watching the video. Thanks for your consideration, and whatever happens, please just pray for us. And my heart's desire is to see people saved. My heart's desire to see preachers trained and churches started, and basically glorify God. And thanks for your consideration. Thank you very, very much. Lord bless you real good. Bye-bye.